Alright, I'm going to take on these RCI GX 460 rock sliders with a 20-degree angle. Already got them set up. Not really a lot of videos on the RCI installation. Seen about maybe 3, but no one actually really showing you how to do it. Then again, I make enough videos myself. A lot of the guys that are doing this are kind of doing it like me, where you don't have a second pair of hands. So I actually have somebody here with me today that's going to help. You'll see her later on these videos. But yeah, I'm going to try to document and show how this goes. And I will do my best. I'm shooting this with a Pixel Google phone, so yeah. Well, it's early, sun's pretty much up. Let's get cracking on the GX 460 with these rock sliders. This is going to be easier to do it this way. So that bolt behind the rear tire is coming out. That Phillips head's coming out. And that Phillips head's coming out. That 10 mil, and that's a 10 mil in the back. And then how I'm going to do this is take those 12s off and make sure to disconnect the electrical, which is somewhere over here, right there. Disconnect that for these courtesy lights, which I'm going to be changing up with probably rock lights. But I'm going to go ahead and zip this off. You don't need to see that in action. I'm going to focus more on putting this on and videoing that. So stand by. Alright. I want to actually show. Now currently we're at 16 inches with the running board. Okay, this is before the RCIs go on. I have the passenger side off, and this is crazy because I just wanted to see this. So we're at 23 inches. So it's a, there we go. A little bit, about 20 and a half. So I'm kind of curious to see what we're going to be at here once we, yeah, once we put these sliders on. Alright, next part of this video. Now I already trimmed this by the end of this video for my 2015 GX 460. I will tell you what my final dimensions are, and just as long as none of this touches, then it should be good if you're doing this on a 2015. I'm going to still say take your own measurements. But what I have done is I have hit the threaded holes with PB Blaster. The bolts that RCI includes are an M8 1.25, and the ones that I can reach with the DeWalt, I'm going to run a tap through them. Yeah, you can do the brass brush and everything, but I'm going to do this because this vehicle is a 2015, so it's got 10 years of stuff in that hole, but I don't think a brass wire brush is going to get everything out, so I feel more comfortable tapping them. So that's going to be the best way for me to do this. Clean these up. Stand by. Alright, so before I go any further, I'm going to show you how I'm doing this. I currently have my girlfriend holding it. Now there's 2 bolts in it. This here up front, now remember this is for the 2015 Lexus GX 460. That is cut at 3.5 inches. And here, I will grab the measuring device. So before I go any further, because this three and a half in the front. a little bit under 2.5 in the back, and it's clearing how I want. Now obviously it's not tightened yet. It will be here soon, but under here I'm using my Pro Eagle jack to hold the one side up. There's no bolts over there, and I currently have the one down here and I have the one in the middle. I got to do the park and brake, and I'm just going to go down the line. I'm not going to film that because there's no need to. Just showing you on this side of the vehicle, this is the passenger side, this is what you're going to be dealing with. So trust me, when we get to the driver's side with all the KDSS stuff, that's going to be more fun. So, but essentially, all you guys that did this by yourself, bravo. I am not doing that. I have to work tomorrow, so yeah, no thank you. Stay tuned. Alright, passenger side slider is on. Now, if you remember my first number, when I took the slider off, and when I had it on, I think it was 16 or something like that. So, gained about maybe 2 3/4, 3 inches in height by putting the RCI slider on. And I'm happy with that because I do have the Stage 3 Ironman kit on here. But now, the last segment you saw how I did it. I used the Pro Eagle. My girlfriend did help me hold it up on this side, and I started out, I put that bolt in and the bolt right here in the middle to the right of the bracket for the parking brake, and then I just went down and put the rest of the bolts in. And don't panic if you're doing this because there are extra holes here that do not line up with threaded holes, because that's probably for a 4Runner or something. So they probably just use the same plate over and over again when they're making these. But I guess the only thing I would say, if you're doing this, make sure, whether you're using the brass brushes or a tap to run through those threaded holes, because if you just try to spray something in there and thinking you're going to Hercules those bolts in, you're going to be sadly mistaken. I learned that when I was working on my Tundra. Don't do it. Get a tap, get the brass brushes from Harbor Freight, or I think Advance Auto sells them, AutoZone. Pick something up, clean those holes out. Trust me, that's going to be your biggest headache. Not cutting it, not trying to Hercules and, you know, jam those bolts in. Don't do it. Trust me, I don't remember anyone else really mentioning that, but I'm telling you, that's going to make your life easy. So let's get over to the driver's side. Okay, driver's side is all prepped. Remove the bolts, which are right down there, for the KDSS lines, all the way back to the park and brake. So I'm going to go up here, squeeze this in. I'm going to use this bar to, there's no give on these lines. I mean, very to little to none. I was expecting a little bit of give, but I mean, they barely move. So I'm just going to do this very carefully. Don't want to bust a KDSS line. Be right back. Okay, nothing's bolted on. Got 2 jacks. Everything's almost lined up. So now it's just a matter of, you can see some of these holes are lining up. So I cheated. My girlfriend and my dad are helping me. So this turned into a 3-person job. So, hang tight. Okay, driver's side rock slider is installed. Now, let me just show you what we got here. All the bolts are in. And again, there's no way to actually film while you're under here. That's why I showed you with my girlfriend, my dad, and the 2 jacks. Essentially, how you can do this. Now, let me just cover this real quick. This is the shield for the actual KDSS line. I had to cut an angle, and I just dropped some paint on that. See that? Just cut it at an angle. That's all I had to do to make it fit. I think this one here is going to fit, but if it doesn't, I'll film that. But let me hop up here for a second. Ooh, yeah, this is definitely... Okay, so how I did it, with help, the side that actually has the KDSS unit, your best bet to do this easily is the lines back here, because you have a more of a solid plate. So I think so. Yeah, you see, you have this, then a space, then you have the little plate, and then you have the big plate. That's the one you got to be careful with, because you got to slide it up behind those lines. So the 2 jack method worked for that with no problems. Again, I am kind of calling this an RCI rock slider install. I'm trying to get the best shots I possibly can detailed, but like I said, I'm just pointing out all the things that did work, that don't work, and the musts that you need to do. And again, I said it earlier in the video, clean those threaded M8 1.25 holes out, either with a tap or the brass brushes. Alright, I'll show you the after when this is all done. So last little tidbit here, I installed the factory lights for now, just on some zip ties until I get my rock lights, but they're coming soon. But I am happy with the install. My coffee for the day. Alright, everyone, thanks for tuning in and watching.